October 21, 2025, a war criminal wanted by the International Criminal Court is about to set foot on European soil for the first time in 3 years, and the world is watching. For over 3 years, Vladimir Putin has waged war against Ukraine. Over 1 million casualties, countless war crimes. An arrest warrant from The Hague, but now Donald Trump wants to meet him face to face in Budapest, and Europe just released a statement that could change everything. Donald Trump has changed his tune more times than anyone can count. First, it was an immediate unconditional ceasefire, then, after his phone call with Putin in Alaska, suddenly it became a full-fledged peace deal. Then over the weekend, he reverted back. Stop at the lines where they are, the battle lines. What's really going on? Trump spoke with Putin by phone last Thursday. Then he met Zelensky at the White House on Friday. Sources described that meeting as tense. The Financial Times reported Trump pressured Zelensky to surrender the Donbas, threatening that Putin would destroy Ukraine if he refused. Trump denied this on Sunday, but the damage was done. The message was clear. America's position is fluid, negotiable, and dangerously unpredictable. For a continent that spent decades under Soviet shadow, that's not just concerning, it's existential. Europe has seen this movie before, the Munich Agreement, Yalta times, when great powers carved up the continent without consulting those whose fates hung in the balance. They're not going to let it happen again. The joint statement released Tuesday morning wasn't just diplomatic boilerplate. It was a declaration. We strongly support President Trump's position that the fighting should stop immediately and that the current line of contact should be the starting point of negotiations. Read that again, starting point, not end point. Europe isn't agreeing to freeze the war where it stands. They're agreeing to start negotiations there, with the ultimate goal being Russia's full withdrawal from Ukrainian territory. It's a subtle but absolutely critical distinction. The statement continues, "We remain committed to the principle that international borders must not be changed by force." That's not ambiguous. Here's what makes this entire situation so impossibly complex. Vladimir Putin hasn't budged an inch. Despite reports suggesting Russia might accept a freeze at current lines, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov was crystal clear on Monday. The consistency of Russia's position doesn't change. So what is Russia's position? Total control of Crimea, full annexation of the Ukrainian regions, Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhia, and Kherson. The problem, Russia doesn't actually control all of these territories. Not even close. They've been trying to fully occupy the Donbas since 2014 and still haven't managed it. The Financial Times reported that during Thursday's phone call, Putin allegedly offered a compromise. Ukraine surrenders the parts of Donbas it still controls in exchange for some smaller parts of Kherson and Zaporizhia. Trump then supposedly pressured Zelensky to accept, but think about what that means. Russia keeps 78% of the industrial heartland of Ukraine. Ukraine gets back a fraction of devastated territory. Putin claims victory. Zelensky goes home to explain why he gave up Ukrainian land. And Russia's military-industrial complex prepares for round 2 in 5 years. This isn't negotiation, it's a hostage situation. So what happens next? That's the question everyone's asking. Will Trump and Putin meet in Budapest? Will Europe hold the line? Will Ukraine survive the winter? The honest answer is, nobody knows. But here's what we do know. This war was supposed to be over in 3 days. Putin's generals promised him Kyiv would fall before the weekend. That was over 3 years ago. Ukraine is still standing, still fighting, still refusing to disappear. And now, for the first time since this nightmare began, Europe is standing with them not just with words, but with weapons, money, and political will that doesn't evaporate every time Washington changes its mind. The Budapest summit might happen, it might not. Putin might walk into an EU capital as a wanted war criminal and walk out with a deal. Or he might realize that Europe's patience has finally run out. But here's the real story. October 21, 2025 might be remembered as the day Europe stopped waiting to be rescued and started rescuing itself. The day 10 leaders stood with Zelensky and said, "Not on our watch. Not on our continent. Not while we still have a say." History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes, and right now, it's rhyming with every moment when ordinary people decided that some things are worth fighting for: sovereignty, dignity, the radical idea that your country's borders can't be erased because a stronger neighbor decided they should be. This isn't just about Ukraine anymore, it's about whether the rules-based international order means anything at all, or whether we're returning to a world where might makes right and conquest is just another negotiating tactic. The answer is being written right now. In the trenches outside Donetsk, in the conference rooms of Brussels, in the cabinet offices of London, Paris, Berlin, and Warsaw. And yes, in the halls of Budapest, where a war criminal and an American president might shake hands while the world holds its breath. What do you think? Should Europe allow Putin on its soil if it means ending the war? Can Ukraine accept a territorial freeze without betraying its people? And is America abandoning its role as defender of democracy, or just making a pragmatic choice? Drop your thoughts in the comments, subscribe if you want to stay updated as this story develops. Share this video with someone who needs to understand what's really at stake. Because this isn't just news. This is history happening in real time, and we're all witnesses.